Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Thanks so much for clicking. If it means a lot, you guys keep clicking. If you guys keep clicking, I'll keep making. And today is yet another video in our Who Will Win series for this season. Obviously, it's ever changing as people's games are tanking, rising up, etc., etc. But today, I really want to go through 4 people who I feel like have the best shot to win the game. Not necessarily my 4 highest on my power rankings, but the 4 people who have the most win equity. So let's do it. Okay, so the first person that I want to mention here is Mike. I think Mike definitely deserves the credit that he seems to be getting with the community really liking Mike. And I feel like, to me, Mike's biggest thing is his social game. Obviously, Mike's strategical ability is kind of clouded by the fact that he just doesn't want to lie, and he's such a nice and emotional guy. But his social game is definitely not affected in that realm because he has relationships with every single person on this tribe. Nobody dislikes Mike. And it's impressive considering how much older he is than everyone else, that he's not socially unaware or socially kind of off. He seems to fit in very well and really has a knack for bonding with people and kind of relating to people, or at least trying to do so. So I think Mike definitely deserves a mention. I think Mike's biggest issue is his demographic, since his demographic doesn't really seem to be winning Survivor post season 40 and pre season 40 that often. You know, the older guy almost never wins Survivor, so that's also very tough. On top of that, he really doesn't have much strategy or physical game, so he would really, have to sell this social superiority case at Final Tribal. And I think that this jury is going to be very pro strategical gameplay, just like last season's jury was very pro-social. I think this jury will sway heavily towards these power players who have all the advantages and did all of the blindsiding. Speaking of strategical forces, next I want to talk about Hai. I think Hai, to me, although some people think that him voting out Ludia isn't really good for his edit, that's kind of contradictory to what he's saying about him being a solid ally, I still think that him being the ringleader of this big alliance is a good thing for his game. It means that he's probably not going to go for a while, and when he does, it'll be a huge blindside. But for now, if he can keep the spot he's in, he's our winner. But he's probably not. But if he can, then he's set. I think, to me, what's so impressive is how he's playing the game almost as good as Omar is, but his edit is still balanced. We're still, it's not glorified like Omar's edit is, and that's a part of the reason why Omar is not on my list today. I think that Omar, to me, is almost too perfect. His edit is so perfect, showing him doing all of the right things, saving his tribe, being the voice of reason. It's almost too good. Whereas in Hai's edit is definitely more realistic. And I think if they were to give Omar the win, the edit would be way too obvious. Whereas in Hai, the edit is kind of misleading in a maybe he won't win. Maybe he'll get blindsided type of way. I feel like, to me, the best way to look at it is that Omar's edit is too good and Hai's edit is just good enough. Negatives: he doesn't have a number 1 ally, or at least a true one, from the pre-merge, unlike the other power players in the game, with Drea having Rocksroy, Jonathan having Omar, and Lindsay. I feel like, to me, these other power players have that number 1 ally that they've known since basically day 1, and he voted his out at the kind of fake merge station of the game, and he's not even gonna get her vote at the end since she's not on the jury. So that's very tough there. But I think overall he's in a great spot in the game, and he was the creator of this main alliance, so he deserves a mention on this list. The next person that I have on this list is definitely a new addition, and that's Marianne. I think Marianne's edit is, to me, looking like a winner's edit, or at least a very heavy growth arc by a fan favorite, because to me she's getting all this negative content, but it's being spun in a positive way. Even her worst moment on the season, in her fight with Jonathan, they still, even though they try and make Jonathan basically the Joe of the season, like the guy who everyone's supposed to like, they still give her side of the story. And then in these situations, where she's trying to be emotional, they then make her look like a good player by showing her intentions, which they really didn't have to do, and they could have just given her a crazy edit instead. I think these are all very good things for her edit. They're basically spinning these bad situations for her socially into situations that are good. They're also giving her like this quirky edit, and this edit of someone who is like here to stay. I feel like there's no way that Marianne is getting blindsided in these upcoming votes. On top of that, they give her, her own story at the merge, which, as we saw last season, getting your story told in the post-merge is actually better for your edit than getting it told in the pre-merge. I think it's very interesting what Marianne's doing in the game right now. She's kind of at the bottom, and she's the easy target from her tribe, but she's also the least threatening player at this point. And I think if I'm on the season, I think I can beat Marianne at the end in a jury vote. So I think she's in a good spot, and her edit is alarmingly winner-like. And so I think she does also deserve a mention on this list. And before I get to my last person, I want to touch on briefly who I don't have on this list that may surprise you, and that's Drea. I think, to me, Drea is someone who's got no real emotional content. She's also getting that weird laugh shown over and over again, which screams villain edit. On top of that, she's not really been humanized at all, even though she has 4 of the advantages in the game. On top of that, they're really emphasizing that she has 4 and that she's set up perfectly, which really screams that she's going to get blindsided with all 4 advantages. It's just very fishy from the edit, and I think someone with this much power in the game would get more personal content if they were going to win the game. So I think that she'll get blindsided with those idols. She may play one correctly in next episode, and then like the next episode go, or the one after that, but eventually she will go out, I think, personally. And lastly but not least, I'm going to put Lindsay on the list. Very big surprise, but I'll try to rationalize my decision. So I think that Lindsay is our closest thing to an Erica, someone who's getting content towards the start of this pre-merge. Like she got 3 confessionals last episode, but it really doesn't matter. Like, it's not good stuff, and she's not really like a good player necessarily. She's getting kind of buried in the edit, although I feel like if they were gonna edit winners the same back-to-back, she's a big person to watch for, because she's definitely the closest person to Erica's edit. I don't think that they're gonna edit the winner the same as last season, but I really would not be surprised, as they did a lot of things the same for this season. So I'm gonna pick Lindsay as a safeguard in case they try and do the exact same thing that they did with Erica with Lindsay. It's kind of far off. I will say Lindsay does have the amulet, which is good for her game, and I think she's also very low target level. She could kind of sneak in at the end and maybe beat 2 goats. I think she could probably beat Tori. I think she could probably beat Rockshoy, I guess. I think she could probably beat Romeo if Romeo keeps on this same track. That's about it. So it's going to take a bad final tribal, but then again, Erica also needed a bad final tribal. But what do you think? Who is your winner pick, and who do you think has 0 chance of winning? Let me know down below in the comments. As always, none of this happens without you guys. Without you guys, I'm Mr. Weird Guy speaking in a weird microphone. Tune into my live show after the episode airs tomorrow. Again, continue to like, share, subscribe, do all that good stuff, and support the channel because it's free and it's easy. And if that's, I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Peace.